Mike Davis joins us, Mike, by phone, in another huge win for the Justice Department. One of the things people, and this is why you either get a special counsel or you take a U.S. attorney and put it on this, because Todd doesn't have the time to do this. I mean, he's a deputy attorney general. The whole building reports to him. And Pam and the team are, quite frankly, overwhelmed with, I don't know, 175, 200 lawsuits on President Trump's Article 2 powers, but another massive victory today, sir, in court?
Yeah, another massive victory. A D.C. district court judge sided with the Trump administration, with President Trump and his team, on the continued dismantling of USAID, this grift that the D.C. Uniparty has to. It's basically the D.C. elites, party planners. They sell it to the American people, USAID to the American people, like they're curing malaria in Africa, and really it's a money laundering operation for the Democrat and really the Uniparty elite in D.C. So what Judge Carl Nichols said was that what we've been saying on your show for a long time with you and me and Julie Kelly and many others, that's the proper recourse for people who were fired from the federal government is to go to the Merit Systems Protection Board. The proper recourse for contractors who were fired from the federal government is to go to the Court of Federal Claims. The USAID was created by executive order. There are parts of it that have been funded by statute, but this judge today correctly ruled that the president has the Article 2 power to keep dismantling these agencies down to the statutory minimum. And the recourse for people who are harmed is not running to an activist judge in D.C. or another place and getting a temporary restraining order and a nationwide injunction and all the other illegal acts, this judicial sabotage that we've been seeing against President Trump over the last 6 months. I would say this, that you're starting to see these courts understand because of President Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi's monumental wins at the Supreme Court of the United States, that the president has the executive power, all executive power under Article 2, and these are huge wins for the presidency.
Two things. You said this. I just want to make sure I'm thinking about this the right way and the audience can get the information. Do you think some of these wins we've had at the Supreme Court now, even these radical judges down at the district level saying, hey, I'm just going to get it overturned, it'll just be more embarrassing, so I'll just do it myself, and that's why we're starting to get these wins in the district court that have kind of picked up over the last 72 hours?
Yes. I mean, you're still going to have some of these radical activist judges who are, taking their cyanide pills in the bunker, but I think that the message is being sent and received throughout most of the federal judiciary that the judicial sabotage must end.
Mike, also, you've taught us, you got us up to speed on the Article 2 powers of the president. This comes from, he's got three broad: chief executive, commander-in-chief, and chief magistrate, chief law enforcement officer. In the bucket or in the segment that is, or the vertical that is chief executive officer, he's starting to win now on, he's got the ability to fire these people, alphabet agencies, all that, take it down to statutory minimums. What about the other power of actually impounding the money? In other words, what it was up until Nixon got in trouble in 71, 72.
Yeah, I mean, this is something
is this sending us a signal that they're prepared to back us on the impoundment of Trump can actually make a decision on not spending the money and start to cut the deficits that way, sir?
I think that's a tougher fight, but I think that Mark Paoletta, who's the general counsel at the Office of Management and Budget, a good friend of all of ours, has been making this argument for many years, that when the Congress has the power of the purse, certainly, right? They have the power to appropriate, but the president has a separate constitutional duty to take care that our laws are faithfully executed under Article 2 of the Constitution. And so, for example, if Congress appropriates $2 billion to what it thinks is going to Gaza humanitarian relief, and the president of the United States finds out that it's going to be spent on Hamas terrorists who are killing Americans, the president has a constitutional duty under Article 2 to stop that. If Congress appropriates $2 billion and it's going to go to waste, fraud, and abuse, the president has a separate constitutional duty under the Take Care Clause to make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's where the president is certainly on firm footing when it comes to impoundment, when it comes to national security and waste, fraud, and abuse.
You're very close to, and so I'm not asking about the content of things, but you're very close to the team at DOJ, and they have two big things in front of them. Clearly this Epstein situation and also the treasonous conspiracy. Just given the manpower, given how few people they've actually gotten in over there, given the fact that the confirmations have been slow walked, and we now know it looks like Thune and Johnson are not going to go out to give the possibility to do recess appointments, right? What is your sense on both Epstein and the treasonous conspiracy about actually, I'll tell you what, Mike, if you could hang on for a second, I'm just going to hold you through a quick break because we're coming up on break. Mike Davis with us. Fred Fleitz, the former Deputy National Security Advisor to the President of the United States in his first term, is going to join us right after Mike. He's got an incredible piece up about what's important in this House intel that just got released after Nunes and Cash and Derek Harvey fought for years to get it released. You're going to find out some of the inside baseball, what President Trump felt. Mike Davis is going to be here talking about the workload over at Maine Justice. Also, he can give us some insights on Alina Habba. Looks like she's still going to be in New Jersey. Pam Bondi playing smash mouth with these radical judges. In addition, huge news coming on redistricting. Guess what? Florida's in the game. Ron DeSantis goes, hey, look, we've had such a shift in demographics. We got to do one mid-decade. They talked today about Missouri maybe getting in the game. I don't know. Could be 10 or 11 seats getting redistricted in a real throwdown. That's one of the reasons we're going to be all over Texas on Monday. Short commercial break. Mike Davis on the other side. It's actually started, man. This one's a big one. One of those late afternoon summer thunderstorms. Mike Davis. So first of the capacity, do you think it's time now to either bring in one of these U.S. attorneys from one of the districts, they get a special counsel? I mean, Mark Levin made a good point yesterday. Say, look, if you take a special counsel, it's going to take forever to get them up to speed. Use somebody inside the U.S. attorneys, one of the local U.S. attorneys, or do something to expedite. He's talking about the treasonous conspiracy. I think both of them, they ought to be merged together. But if Todd Blanche is sitting there for 2 days, and Todd, if Todd's taking 2 days and being deputy attorney general to talk to Maxwell, and they're talking about 100 names, there's going to be a little bit of investigation. It's going to be a time sink. What's your just recommendation for management of manpower?
I think Todd and Pam are they have a good team at the Justice Department. John Sowers over there, the guy who won the presidential immunity decision for President Trump. You have Harmeet Dillon and the Civil Rights Division who can help with any conspiracy against rights investigation on Crossfire Hurricane. You have U.S. attorneys, nominees going through the process. You can appoint U.S. attorneys on a 120-day appointment immediately, and then you can essentially reappoint them for another 210 days if you have to, like we saw with Alina Habba in New Jersey. So here's the problem with special counsel. It takes too long to get them up and running. You can't have a special counsel down in the Southern District of Florida because Judge Cannon ruled that was unconstitutional during Jack Smith's investigation. And if you just have good management, good leadership like Todd Blanche provides, he can manage this. And I'm not concerned about having.
Well, you'd have to get him. You'd have to get somebody who's confirmed, like Emil Bovee, but he's going to be a judge. But you have to get somebody who's confirmed to be a special counsel now, given the fight that you and Boris and Todd and everybody had down in South Florida. It's now, I think it's considered, if you're going to name a special counsel, it has to be confirmed by the Senate, sir?
Well, at least in the Southern District of Florida, because Cannon's opinion is binding there. It's persuasive everywhere else. But look, I don't think they can run any of these investigations through a U.S. attorney's office. And Todd is the deputy attorney general. Todd Blanche as the deputy attorney general, and Harmeet Dillon as the head of civil rights, and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino over at the FBI can give this U.S. attorney's office whatever resources they need.
We're going to get Flights on here in a minute about the treasonous conspiracy. Let me go back. Alina Habba, please make this make sense to us. Is she now, because Pam fired what the judges put in as, I guess, her deputy or first assistant. Is Alina Habab, as we sit here at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on a Friday afternoon in July, is she now back to being acting or interim U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, sir?
Yes, she was appointed for 120. So generally how U.S. attorneys work is you have the president and his White House staff have to work with the home state senators to get their stupid blue slips back for these U.S. attorneys, meaning both home state senators have to sign off on it. If you don't get that, you can't nominate under 100-plus years of Senate tradition. I hate the blue slips. I tried to get rid of them before when I was there. I helped push Grassley to get rid of blue slips for circuit judges, but blue slips are not going away for U.S. Attorney, U.S. Marshal, and District Court judges. There would be 100 Senator revolt, as I say, if they lost the ability to hand select the prosecutor who would prosecute the home state senators, the district court judge who would oversee the trial, and the U.S. Marshal who would escort them to prison. So Alina's there. She was on a 128-day appointment. The corrupt district court judges in New Jersey, 17 of them, 15 of whom were appointed by Biden and Obama, colluded. They picked their own hand-picked successor to Alina. I don't know how that's constitutional, but they did it. So Pam Bondi, to her great credit, fired the corrupt district court judge's pick, and she reinstalled Alina Habba as the first assistant U.S. attorney in New Jersey, and that made her the acting U.S. attorney in New Jersey.
Important thing.
Alina's back, and Pam gave the corrupt judges a big middle finger.
This shows you Trump is fully into the Fight Club. We're not. He ain't going to back off an inch. These U.S. attorneys are vitally important. He ain't backing off. They're going to play games.
Correct.
He's going to come back at you. Talking about, and folks, in the C block, or we'll keep Fred over there, into the C block, major announcement today. Ron DeSantis throws down. He says, hey, I think there's 5 demographic shifts. We're going to do something mid-decade. He's talking about 5 seats in Florida. We know there's already identified 5 seats in Texas, and there's a special session. We're going to be all over that tomorrow and on Monday all day. I think now they're talking about Missouri for one, Ohio for a couple. Mike Davis, there's 12 to 14 seats in play here, and the Democrats are locked up. They got to change the Constitution, I think, in California, Illinois, and in New York, so it's not as easy. 10 to 14 seats, maybe more. Give me your thoughts on that one, brother.
The Republicans should 100% do this. Republicans need to learn how to earn power and use power like Democrats do every day and like they've done every day for the last 100 years. Republicans need to learn how to play tough, take off the gloves, put on the brass knuckles, and break your political opponent's glass jaws, right? And so 100% these Republicans should move forward. Democrats would do this to us all day, every day. So
all day long.
Let's play Smash Mouth.
Mike Davis, where do people go for Article 3 to get you and all your information, sir?
Article3project.org, article number 3project.org. You can donate only what you can afford. Follow us on social media. Take action. Most important action is confirming Emil Bove for the Third Circuit. His vote's going to be on Tuesday. Go to that Emil Bove action item and contact both of your home state senators and make sure they find and keep their backbones and don't waver.
Always important. Go to Article 3 today. Win after win after win, folks. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Talk about another one.